So first things first, BPM, I set it at 120 because I'm lazy. I have a master pitch here. So it's pitched up 3 semitones. It's in D, but it's actually 3 in F major. Just for reference, I'm gonna be playing in D major because I don't know. I really like that key. The first instrument that I used were these electric keys, and they're called the Shop Touch. All the sounds that I'm gonna be using in this video, they're from my kits. So my DreamFlux Multi-Kit and my Chrono drum suite, which you can all get at a discounted price using the link in the description. And you also get a free loop kit with that. So happy days. These guys, they sound like this. There's that rhythm, like the da-da-da type rhythm. And for the chords, right, it's a 1 major, then it goes to a 2 minor, then it goes to a 2 flat major, then it goes back to a 1, right? And again, jazz extensions, guys, like Nintendo, especially in Nintendo system music, major 9, major 7, always use jazz extensions. The next instrument that I used were these gentle touch keys, again from my kit, and they sound like this. There's that very like spacey vibe to that, right? I always love doing this, bro. If you watch my previous videos, then you'll always see me using this, right? The gentle touch keys. It's just keys with delay. Just get any delay and just put like a triplet timing in it. You should get this nice effect. I took off the low end. I don't want like a really bassy feel. I want something that feels kind of light, so I just took that off. The chords that I played, I just followed the chords that were already set up. So I have this D major. Specifically, it's a D sus2. You just play around with the root chords that you already put down. Just play around with that until you have something that sounds nice. And there we go. The next sound that I put down was this harp. Kind of like the lead melody in this beat. And it sounds like this. This is kind of something that you have to play around with, right? But one of the tips that I can give, use the notes from the chords, right? It's a pretty basic tip, but you can see here, it's a non-diatonic chord progression. I'm borrowing some chords from different keys to make it sound more interesting. When those different chords come, I kind of outline the different notes in the other scale, just to really emphasize the different chords, like this. Yeah, that A flat. Yeah, it really highlights the, I don't know, bro, it's sauce. It's spicy. By playing the outside notes, you get some really nice music out of it, bro. Next instrument that I used was, it's a pad basically, right? It's called Midnight Dream. I kind of did like a second melody. I think it's best to show you when it's played together. And it sounds like this. It kind of repeats the same melody, like it kind of echoes that melody, just to give it more, you know, just flavor, bro. And then at the second half of this melody, I decided to play the chords and get this. First, I'm just playing single notes, no harmony, and then at the second half, I'm adding in harmony, just to give it like some depth as well. You're starting here, but by adding harmony, you're bringing the melody up to here. For the strings, there is a bit of variation. For the most part, it's just this. It's just that, right? And this string, it's the 5th note in that scale. Remember, I'm in D major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A. Whatever key you're in, if you want to add a drone, use the 5th note, because it always works. Another thing I added, I have this kind of accent called the 8-bit sauce. 8-bit sauce for a reason, man. Listen to this. I just added those small accents just to make the beat pop even more. Again, I have another accent here. I'm using keys, mellow feel, just to create a type of piano melody. Next thing that I added is the guitar. Again, all of these sounds, they're all from my kits. Yeah, this is the guitar from the DreamFlux kit. Sounds like this. I was just following the chords. I just wanted like a plucked, like a strummed out kind of feel to it. So that's what I did there. For the second part, I did add more rhythm. There we go. Yeah, very rhythmic. But yeah, I added more rhythm, a very bouncy feel kind of, dotted rhythm, and yeah, I just did that just to add, again, more variation. It's all about variation with these things, to add movement to your beat. For the second part of this melody, I used a DS sounding grand piano, grand touch. I reused the same chords as I did for the shop touch. The first instrument that we added sounds like this basically. The last part of this melody is the bass. First part of the bass, I just did the root notes, but the fun part of the bass, I did this. I just played around with the root notes of the chords. Mainly, I used the first note and the fifth note of that chord. When going to the next chord, I'd mess with chromatics. As you can see here, I bridged those two notes together by just going one up. And yeah, that's it for the melody. And the melody should sound like this. Now, to really bring this melody alive, we use drums. So all of these drum sounds, they're all from the Chrono drum suite, created using this. Guys, this is a 3DS, a Nintendo 3DS. So what I would do, right? I'd make Foley sounds using this 3DS. So let's say that, pressing the buttons. I'd process all of these sounds into drums. Creative idea, right? And I got all these drum sounds from it. Also, what's included, not even just drum sounds, but sound effects or drums or just whatever, all the sounds from various different games, and I compiled them all into this drum suite. There's over 750 sounds for you to play with and to experiment with this drum suite. So if this sounds like something you'd want, you can get a discount code in the link in the description. Bro, it took weeks, man. I'm just working and setting up, so I'd appreciate if you guys would like to try it out. Let me show you the drum loop. That's a very, very tasty drum loop. So for the kick, I use the subtle kick. So what I love to do with drum sounds is I always love to play with the pitch, because everyone usually plays it in C, but I played this 1, 2, 3, 3 semitones up. Just by changing the pitch of your drums, you're adding so much character to it. And that's what I did here. Pattern is boom, 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 boom. Kind of like a house type of vibe. The snare, it's pretty simple. Just a basic snare pattern. I didn't actually use a snare. What I did, I used a percussion. There's over like 50 percussions here. I used the one called button. I pitched it up 2 semitones. There's a bit of like a tail at the end. I cut that tail off. I made it very short. And you get that sound. Like a very light snare feel. I didn't want something too heavy for this specific vibe. For the hi-hat, I used the shaker called Cafe. The pattern is just this. Kind of like a basic house hi-hat pattern. And all together, you know, it sounds like this. Not too much middle, just a low and a high end. The rest of the sounds, they're just percussion sounds, just to add more texture to the beat. I use this percussion sound called cup, sounds like this. A subtle sound. The next percussion I added was this percussion called dolak. It's like an Indian drum and it sounded kind of like that. Then I added a crash, just a light crash where it sounds like this. This next percussion was actually one of the sounds from the sound effects collection. This is like sound effects heaven. There's 12 folders from different systems. I use this one, sound effects 20, from the Wii menu collection. You have all these sounds, which can all add to like some beautiful texture. And honestly, that's the drums finished. All that's left is arrangement. I started off with an intro first. There's no lead melody. It's just the chords, a bit of accents. I'm slowly teasing the drums. It's just the kick drum for now. So now this is, let's say, section A, right? Or the chorus. That's when I introduced the main melody. And then I repeat that section again. So this is A2, A1, A2. What I did different was I changed the 8-bit accent, and I also changed the rhythm of the guitar, as I explained earlier on. Just by slightly changing these sounds, slightly changing the rhythm, you create depth, you create movement. It's always pleasing to the ears. And then after that, it goes to a B section. Still the same chords, but a different vibe. I stripped away the bass, I stripped away the main melody, and I created a new melody using these other keys. I also took away the kick drum, just to really give it that open feel. And then it just loops again, and then that is our beat. Now the full thing, it sounds like this. So I hope you learned something new. I hope this inspires you to create your own like 3DS, DS, Nintendo theme. That is it. I hope you enjoyed. God bless. Peace.